And today we're going to be talking about belonging to the earth. Belonging is probably my favorite Dharma topic right now. I talk about it obsessively, so hope you're into it too. So I'm here in Vancouver, which are the unceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. Um, and it's kind of impossible to talk about belonging to the land without thinking about and feeling into what colonialism has done to these lands and to the people, the original caretakers of this land. And that I would love to do another whole piece around that, but I don't feel like, anyway, I feel like that requires a certain kind of care that we can't do in an hour, but I have done before. So hopefully at some point that will happen, particularly if I make my way to Montreal in person. Anyway, okay. So we're mostly going to do practice today. It's not going to be a ton of talking. So let's just get right into it. So finding a posture that feels right for you. And turning your attention inwards. That might be by closing your eyes or having your gaze downwards. And we'll start by finding the earth. So noticing your sits bones, and then noticing all the parts of you that are directly touching the earth. So that might be your feet. If you're lying down, it might be your whole back body. If you're sitting in a chair, you might notice the support on your back. This is the earth holding us. This is the earth asking for us to belong. We allow ourselves to belong to this earth, to know that the support that's given right now, this didn't have to be earned. It didn't have to be won. It's just here. You might feel into gravity right now. This downward pull to the earth again, another call to belong. See if you can receive gravity as belonging. And just as you feel the downward pull of gravity, see if you can also feel an upward pull of dignity. You might imagine there's a little string at the top of your head that's being gently pulled so that your spine aligns. Taking mentorship from the land, we can feel into belonging through this downward pull of gravity, but also just like a mountain, the upward pull of dignity. See if you can hold both in your body. Trusting your body over my words. If there's any part of this that does not feel like the right thing for you, please, please trust the wisdom of your body. And so feeling into this mountainous, strong back body and this earth that is holding us. Just as you can feel into this earth element externally, see if you can also feel it internally. This back body, these bones, this is also part of earth element. Feeling the weight of your body, that's earth element. The softness or roughness of clothing on your skin. Earth element. You might want to feel the way your teeth feel when you touch them together. That hardness is earth element. Not me, not mine, not myself, just earth element. Now turning our attention towards fire element in the body. Noticing the temperature on our skin. You might notice that some parts of you are cooler and some parts of you are warmer. Fire element. Noticing the different parts of your body that are touching each other. So your hands might be clasped or your arms against your side body. Noticing the heat that gets generated. This is fire element witnessing itself. Just fire element, not me, not mine, just fire. You might notice the warmth in your mouth. And the whole energy of the digestive system, right? It's fire. If you can notice temperature changes within the breath, it's a bit easier to notice at the nostrils. Is the in-breath cooler or warmer than the out-breath? Fire element. These temperature changes are impersonal. They come and they go. Just as the sun heats the earth and the lava heats the land and water, so too does fire element exist within us and all beings. Not me, not mine, not myself. Moving along to water element. The gifts of the ocean, the brooks, the lakes, the glaciers, the snow on top of mountains, the puddles. Just as water element exists outside of us, so too does it exist inside. To notice the wetness in the mouth. Wetness of the eyes. Wetness of the nostrils. Noticing dampness on the skin, most easily noticeable in the armpits. Noticing the moisture in the breath. Noticing that there is a heart and it's pumping blood, this water element throughout our body. Maybe if you've just had some water, you might notice some liquid in your belly. not my water, just water element existing internally and externally. Water element coming home to itself. Belonging to the water outside of you by finding the water inside of you. And then moving on to air element. Just as the wind blows through the trees, so too does air element exist in the body. Noticing the breath, the lungs contracting and expanding. Maybe you notice your diaphragm or your belly or your back body. Whole body responding to air element. And then allowing yourself to feel the air in the room on your skin. Belonging to the air outside by belonging to the air inside. This division between inside and outside is false. By noticing the elements, we notice the dance that we are in with the universe. You truly are made of stardust. We are nature, and nature is us. And turning your attention back outwards. Thanks, friends. I'm very glad to see that my friend Melina is here. Melina and I facilitated a whole day long about this, which had a lot more, but I'm giving you a tiny little taste. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of talking now. So Melina and I were really excited. Oh, there's a little heart. Melina and I were really excited to talk about building relationship with the earth, which felt good. And then True North Insight, which is the organization that often asks me to teach, they were having an environmentalism month for April, Earth Day. And a lot of Dharma folks talk about the earth. And every year when they ask me to do that, I go, "Oh, okay, fine." If you're going to make me, I'll do it. Um, and the reason why, it's not that I don't care about the earth, but there's just this way that so often environmentalism is like synonymous with whiteness, right? It's like a bunch of people who are like, we really care about the plants and the animals, but we don't really care about people of color, right? We don't super care that there's wars happening. And I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that that has been a part of my history. So it's spiky for me to talk about the environment. So there's a way that cognitively I understand that people of color are, and BIPOC, actually, not just people of color, are, and particularly Black folks and Indigenous folks, are deeply impacted by environmental racism, right? We know this. Palestine is being bombed. This is causing more environmental destruction than anything else that's happening right now, right? And yet I'm not hearing like white environmentalists talking about that, right? Because it impacts brown people. And we live in Canada where there are numerous Indigenous communities who still don't have access to water, right? So I know this cognitively. I know it's really important to talk about the earth. And yet I'm like, oh, white people shit, you know? So this changed for me kind of in an all of a sudden way. I was practicing my Gujarati, which is my home language. And I was in my apartment talking to my cat in Gujarati because my cat is not judgmental about my terrible grammar. Um, and I was naming things in my apartment. So I was like, Nar. Oh, that's the water fountain. Not the water fountain, what's it called? The tap. My Gujarati is great, I swear. My English is even better. The tap. And then water itself, pani, and just kind of naming things in my apartment as you do before Duolingo. This was many years ago. Um, and there was a little insect climbing up the wall, and I was like, "Oh, Jivru." And then it kind of hit me. Oh, Jivru, the translation of it. Jiv means life, and Ru means little life, very different from the English translation of bug, which is to annoy, right? And I was like, oh, nature is not white. I grew up in this family. I have refugee parents, and um, they were just so protective about how I spent my time and did never want me to be outside because outside is dangerous. And when I was a teenager and was like, I want to go camping, they were like, why would you want to be outside? Why would you want to be dirty? It's so unsafe. Again, white people shit. So this comes from many places for me. But then having this moment, this insight of, oh, this is not white people shit really challenged me. I was living in Toronto then. And if you live in Toronto or have been to Toronto, not a lot of nature, right? And I had never noticed it there. I just never paid attention. I was always just kind of, blinders on, go, 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 getting things done. And when I had this kind of big Jivdu realization, I was like, I gotta leave this place. I gotta build a relationship with land. And that's what I did. And now I live on these beautiful, beautiful lands where it's really easy to build a relationship. We protect those who we're in relationship with, right? And so it's really vital that we build a relationship with the earth. Relationships are about many different things: giving, receiving, attuning, affection, appreciation, acceptance. Those are just some of the ways that we love each other, right? And some of the ways we can love the earth. So, starting with attunement, yes, we can absolutely, and we must, in fact, notice the horrors of fracking, of oil spills, of environmental chaos, right? And can we also hold that the spring continues to be, it continues to come despite all of these horrors, right? I like to think of this as the earth's resistance. The earth is still holding us and loving us through it, and yet resists the violence through blossoms. And so we attune and we're affectionate with the earth, right? We give the earth the gift of our loving attention. It is, I really deeply believe that it is revolutionary to stop and smell the roses, to marvel at the beauty that is freely given to us. What deep generosity the earth shows us. We allow ourselves to be moved by the beauty of the earth, right? If your friend gets a haircut and it's very obvious and they've drastically changed their style, it would be weird if you didn't say, "Wow, nice haircut," right? You can do that with the earth too. Oh, it's spring. Hi. Well, so great to meet you, spring. So nice to be in your presence. This is a devotional practice. This is bhakti, right? Finding awe in everything. So many of us are pretty decent at some of these relational skills, right? Generosity, affection, attunement. Most of us kind of have the basics of that. Most of us are pretty much not great at receiving, right? It's super vulnerable to receive, right? If you get sick, sorry, if your friend gets sick and they're like, "Hey, can you yeah, if your friend gets sick and you say to them, "Hey, can I bring you some soup?" and they say no, there's a part of you that goes, "Oh, I really wanted to do that," right? And you really wish that your friend would give you the gift of allowing you to be generous. And yet in our culture, it's so hard to do. Very vulnerable to receive. But we need to give people and also the earth the opportunity to have an impact on us, to allow ourselves to be moved by relationship. Robin Wall Kimmerer talks about it this way. She says, so this is Indigenous activist scholar, um, knowing that you love the earth changes you, activates you to defend and protect and celebrate. But when you feel that the earth loves you in return, that feeling transforms the relationship from a one-way street into a sacred bond. Okay, so we're going to do another practice where we let the earth love us. So it's going to be a short elements practice, just like we did before, but infused with some metta, friendliness, loving kindness. You know, when it's difficult to do something, anything in our practice, and practice is everything, right? Practice isn't just what you do on your cushion. It can be really supportive to allow this energy of loving kindness, of friendliness to infuse your practice. So we are going to learn to receive a little bit, um, turning your attention inwards. First, finding a posture that works for you. And then turning your attention to sound. Hearing is inherently receptive. So it's a really great place to practice receiving. And allowing ourselves to receive the breath. This in-breath is a gift from air element. And I receive this gift. So we're going to do a little imagination meditation. And this is supposed to be pleasant. Pleasantness allows us to receive or do things that are a little bit more difficult. And so I'm going to be laying out a beach scene, and if beach and heat and water, that sort of scene is not a pleasant scene for you, please pick another. You can get creative. An outdoor scene. And for those of us who like being at the beach, noticing, you can imagine yourself actually at a beach that you really like. Starting with noticing fire element. The heat of the sun warming you up, just like a puppy lies in a sunbeam. Lying on the beach allows you to receive this gift of the earth, allowing yourself to receive this gift. Noticing earth element, the sand that's below you, this gift of softness, the sand that molds to your body, holding you. This is earth element. See if you can receive this gift of softness. Element. So you might be at a lake or at the ocean. Maybe you want to step just your little just your little toe into the ocean, or maybe you want your whole body in there. The warm sun and the cool water. Maybe you're floating on the water. Maybe you've got some arm floaties on if you can't swim. Letting yourself be held by the water. This gift from water element. See if you can let yourself be held. Taking in the gift of wind element. If you're by the ocean, there might be salty air. Breathing, sent in. Feeling the coolness of the air in contrast to the heat of the sun. This gift of air element. See if you can receive that gift. Be you. Allow yourself to walk back to the beach, lying down, letting yourself feel all of the elements, the sand beneath you, the water droplets on your skin, the air around you, and the heat drying you off. You might want to a little bow to the elements, a little thank you for the gifts. And then you're returning your attention back to the Zoom room. Hope that was a nice little um, foreshadowing for a really sweet summer. I'm super ready to get into the ocean. So, a poem by James A. Pearson. How can I love this spring when it's pulling me through my life faster than any time before it? When 5 separate dooms are promised this decade, and here I am just trying to watch a bumblebee cling to its first purple flower. I cannot save this world, but look how it's trying, once again, to save me. So we'll move into another practice. Told you it was going to be practice heavy today. Okay, so another practice. This is a house plant practice. So if you've got a plant, like my gorgeous blue star fern here, I love plants so much in my home. Just before we started, as we were setting up the Zoom room, I dropped one of them and now there's dirt all over the floor. I'm gonna have to send some apologies to my plant, but Coral very wisely said, perhaps it's trying to make its way back to the earth. Love that. So anyway, if you've got a house plant, now would be a time to get it. If it's in the room already, great. You just have to look at it. And if you don't have a house plant, no worries at all. We can just imagine one. So I'll give you all a couple of minutes to find one. So what we're going to do is a little practice of breathing in the life that the plants give us, right? They produce oxygen, which we breathe in. And then when we breathe out, they take in the carbon dioxide and they breathe that in. And so we're always in relationship with plants, but how often do we stop to notice? So this is an intentional practice to really notice that. So if you don't have a house plant with you, and you are looking outside, or you are outside, maybe you are outside right now, notice a plant there. You might look out a window and notice a tree friend, a bush friend, a little flower growing. And if none of that is accessible to you, you can imagine one, maybe your favorite tree when you go out for a walk. Around here, the wild roses are in full bloom, which is smells so good. It's so great. Okay. 'Cause, 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 So you may want to put your hands on the plant. Maybe we'll just start there. We'll just start by being in relationship, noticing with your eyes, noticing the various colors, marks, the veining, the leaf patterning. And then we can notice with touch. So again, if you can't directly touch a plant, if it's not in front of you, you can just imagine. Maybe even noticing some of the elements. You might notice a little bit of moisture, water element, or touching the dirt, earth element. Air element between the leaves. Turning your attention inwards. That might mean closing your eyes. It might not, because we're going to put half of our attention on the plant, half of our attention inwards. Noticing that the in-breath is a gift for us to receive from our plant friend. Noticing that we are offering a gift just by being, just through the exhale. And you might be able to visualize this circuit, this receiving and giving circuit. Perhaps it has a color or sparkliness. Trusting whatever arises in the mind's eye. Tuning to our plant friend with affection and care. Attuning to ourselves with the same affection and care. Trusting again, whatever images arise. This is the work of relationship. Receiving with the in-breath and offering in the out-breath. Noticing that plant friend is also receiving and giving. So when you're ready, you can bring your attention back to the Zoom room. Oh, look at this beautiful dog, Azumi. Hmm. Friends, I apparently rushed through that because we've got 10 whole minutes left, which is amazing. I would love to hear from folks. How was that for you? What does it mean to belong? Do you have questions around belonging?